Language?
Spanish is a black language? No. Spanish is not a black language.
I thought the blacks was talking Spanish before the Hispanics were.
No, that's a European language. Spaniard, Latin, those are European languages.
Oh, okay.
Right. Hebrew, Arabic, these are European languages. You know, we got these languages because of invasion. Especially Arabic, we got that because of converting to Islam during the Islamic slave trade.
Oh, okay.
You know, Hebrew, we got that. That comes from the Khazars. You know, like especially during the 1500s when they first started converting the Bible, Old Testament,
right,
was in Hebrew.
Right.
And that was the first time they started putting the Bible together was in Hebrew first.
Yeah.
And then Old Testament and New Testament Greek.
Right.
But before that, that's how you know Arabic comes before Hebrew because it's the first Catholic Bibles were in Arabic first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they weren't in Hebrew or Greek.
Oh, okay.
But Spaniard, in terms of black people getting it, remember the first time we started getting it was through slavery.
Right.
Before we started, we first speaking language was in Hispaniola, was known as Cuba, Panama,
right,
Puerto Rico. That was because of the people who were already there. Because you had two situations going on. You had, in the islands, you had Africans that were already there, and then you had imported Africans because of slavery. And then
that's why I had asked that question.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they came in, when the Portuguese came in with their slaves, they basically, already colonized that area because they wanted that land, land that had riches already there. That's why it was called Puerto Rico. Or Rich Porter. That's what Puerto Rico means, Rich Porter.
Oh.
So they came in. That's because that name, Rich Porter, that was what they named it. The Spanish named it that.
Oh, okay.
They already had African names for these lands. So you got, like let's say for example Trinidad. Trinidad was named after one of Columbus's men, Balboa. Trinidad. Trinity meaning Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
But prior to that, right, all those places you see on the coast and in the islands, the Puerto Ricans, the Panamanians, and Jamaica, these were all people that Africans inhabited these areas before there was anybody else that was there. So
but why they don't tell you that?
why would I want to tell you something if I want to keep you subjugated?
Yeah.
I have to make you believe that the people who are superior to you are light, white people. So why would I tell you that? Oh, these people Africans were already here.
Mess up everything.
Yeah, Africans were already here. Like you had ancient African names for this continent prior to any Columbus coming over here.
Yeah.
I had a little mini debate on Instagram about the Olmecs. I told him I could tell he was a European because he kept saying the Olmecs were ancient Americans, and he put Latin at the end of American.
Yeah.
To try to signify they were Spaniards and not African. I said you do realize that the Olmecs, looking at them first of all based on common sense, they look African.
Right.
African lips, African nose, African eyes, features, lips, everything. So I said, if you want to be honest with it, you have to realize Mansa Musa, Abubakar II, they came out of Mali. They came over here during the 1300s, 1310 to be exact. And Abubakar came over here with 200 ships of his own, because he was a king. So he came over here with his people, and he came over here with ships and reinforcements. And this place here, the actual name of it was the Moorish Science Temple, we'll call it Amexem. Then you have another name for it that predates that, which is called Amer Inca. And Amer Inca is coming from the Africans that came here from Uganda, and the Inca was attached to it from the American Indians.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And you gotta realize that name actually predates when Abubakar came over here. Even before Mansa Musa came over here. You gotta realize they've already discovered bones that goes back to the 800, no, not even 1800, 800 AD. Africans that were already here. Because you gotta realize
I'm Lucy. Oh.
Yeah. But just on this side of the world,
Yes.
when you got people, for example, let's say, again, Abu Bakr II, when he came over here, the mindset that he had, because he was one of the African Muslim converts to Islam.
Right.
He realized what Islam was doing to his people, because it was literally putting them in slavery. When you deal with Mansa Musa, one of the most richest people who ever walked the planet, African in particular, he realized that converting to Islam was a bad thing. And he came over here, and his brother would tell him, look, you need to come over here, and they lost contact. That's why he came over here to find them. That's why he came over here to find Abu Bakr II, and he mixed in with the people who were already here, because there were already Africans already over here. So this is
same.
yeah, right. So when you look at certain lands, North, South America, the islands, and all these places, these were all connected. They were all connected at some point. These are the places that we were walking.
So where was this? You can say like a earthquake that divided it up?
Yeah, you had different continental drifts.
Oh,
you got continental drift, and then you had meteorite showers that messed up, that broke the land off, and then you had earthquakes that broke the land off. This goes back millions and millions of years.
Yeah.
See, with the mindset, if I say we existed here 17 million years and walked the planet to and fro before there was a separation of the land, mentally people are going to think, well, these are monkeys that did this.
Yeah.
These are Homo erectus monkeys. Like, no, these were what you would call pre-dynastic deities, Neolithic deities, and these were what we call the pygmies, and they walked back and forth. These were highly intelligent extraterrestrial beings. They were Africans, but they had higher knowledge of certain things. These are the same ones that came to the Dogon of Mali. Mali gives their own record of the Nomos that came in from Sirius B. And they didn't just stop in Mali. They were walking to and fro before continental drift even happened. So, looking at the connections of all these different beings that came here, you can look at because people will ask you where's the evidence, and you can see the evidence with a pyramid or several pyramids in every part of the world.
Right.
Pyramids in America, pyramids in Mexico, South America, China, of course, Nubia, Sudan, Egypt, all over the place. So explain to me, if just the question I always tell people to ask the European, if Africans are only in one central place and Africans built the pyramids, why do you see what they did in just one place all over the world? I mean, because you got the pyramids in China that predate the ones that's in Upper Cairo in Egypt. You got the ones that were in America that predate the ones in China, and you got the ones that were in the lost city of Atlantis that they're still uncovering, that they may say have predated the ones in Sudan or in Egypt as well.
And today they don't even know how they built it.
No, they don't. No. They don't know. They don't want. Thing is that that's called outformation.
Yeah.
It's information. It's knowledge that they can't uncover. It's what we know that they're still trying to figure out. How to build the pyramids, how we did this, how we did that. Because the biggest kept secret, if you're looking at why you got obelisks all over the place. You got an obelisk in Herman Park right now.
Yeah.
You got an obelisk in Washington, D.C. And if we wasn't, because they never built no obelisk.
Right.
They wanted Benjamin Banneker to build an obelisk all over the world because of their own problems with their own genitals.
Yeah.
Because the obelisk is literally just a structure based upon the genitals of the male. That's really all it is. It's still for glory because of basically knowing where we come from and knowing, our phallic symbol. It's not homosexuality, but it's just knowing and honoring the phallic symbol. Whereas with the European, they knew genetically that they didn't measure up. So when they set up these different places with these different obelisks, they were trying to show that they had this type of superiority going on.
Right.
That's why you see it in different parts of Washington D.C. and different parts of all over the world. You see it obviously all over the place trying to mark their territory.
Oh, okay.
But the fact that they had to get an African to put it together shows things that they know psychologically and intellectually they can never do. So different languages, we came in contact with different people and adapted them.
Right.
Most of the languages from Hebrew, Arabic, Spanish, they were derivatives of our language. When you think about it, they're not ours by birth, but they're stolen legacies. All the languages that you see speaking have an origin to them. You know, because there's some people that would say Latin is the language that you can connect every other language to. That's what they'll say. But Latin itself will be derivatives of all the languages prior to that. Even prior to, and then those languages are taken from African languages. Because I talked about this last week. Anytime you're looking at Arabic, Hebrew, etc., you're looking at a period of time where Europeans came into our land. They had no language.
Right.
Let's say you go back 6,000 years when they first encountered, you know, the Nubian people, the black Africans, and they had no language, no knowledge, they were uncivilized. So they had to take what they got from us, different words, go back into the caves and try to graft something together. That's what the first Europeans did. And history repeated itself.
You know that's going on today.
Yeah, it is.
You already know.
That's right. That's why, matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. You can go, that's why if you study any anthropologist right now, cultural, physical, whatever, and you study their books, they always go back to New Guinea.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to study their language, they're trying to study what they do. How does this one group of people still stay steady into what they do for thousands and thousands and thousands of years? And we have to create these other ways to stay civilized. And they take their language, they take their way. You got these, you look at National Geographic, when you look at certain things in National Geographic and you see European anthropologists around Africans, they're trying to infuse with them.
Right.
Psychologically and genetically, they're trying to infuse with their melanin. They see, they look at it like it's this, oh, we're just studying their culture, that's all we're doing. No, you're trying to come in, mix in, and infuse yourself with our genetics. They know themselves as being genetically inferior. That's reality. So like you said, no, they're still doing it. It's not just New Guinea. They got, you know, parts of Ghana, parts of Nigeria, South Africa. That's why they're colonizing these places. It's not just about language and religion and food and diamonds. They want to infuse with the people. Because the thing is that
they experiment.
They're experimenting. The Ebola. See, their mindset is this: we've already mixed in with them. We got part of their melanin. Now we need to get rid of them. That's what we have to look at. That's why all of a sudden, boom! Because anytime you have a disease that pops out of nowhere, you know someone's implanted that. It doesn't just pop up. Coincidences does not exist. A coincidence does not exist. Only realities. You can't sit there and say that was just out of nowhere. No, you're missing.
Why they always? Yeah, you're right. Why they always put it in Africa?
In Africa. Even if you think about it, the first, let's say, not even in Africa, in America, when you think about homosexuality, you think about what they call AIDS at first, which G called the gay disease, right? And those were the first people who caught it because of their type of acts sexually. And then the second people to get it was African Americans. And then they got it, then it became an epidemic. Because they were trying, the thing is that these diseases is all about curbing the population. They're trying to, they've been trying to do that since 1790. That was the whole reason for the census. The whole reason for the census, remember, the census started in 1790 when Africans was half of the population of this continent. It was about 45% of this continent. And they were trying to number how many Africans were all over that was enslaved or that was free. So they wanted to find different ways to exterminate.
Right.
That's why we're at 12%. You notice we fluctuate. We between 12 and 13% of the population in America. We was at 40% in 1790, and since 1790, they've been trying to find different ways of exterminating us.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all that is. So Ebola is not just something that out of nowhere comes. No, they knew how to implant it. That stuff is created in Europe and implanted in Africa, or implanted in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Just like AIDS.
Yeah, just like AIDS, just like any other syphilis, the gonorrhea, all these sexually transmitted diseases. They know how to implant these things that they've created, you know, decades ago. Because if this was just an African disease, why all of a sudden the last 50 years it pops up?
Yeah.
If this was a natural occurrence through sex, why all of a sudden you didn't see too many STDs popping up? There was no AIDS in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
No AIDS in black community in 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. All of a sudden, late 60s, early 70s, AIDS pops up. And you telling me that wasn't during warfare? That's genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at homosexuality right now, when you see people think this right here is harmless. When you got little boys wearing dresses and skirts, people think, black people in particular, think that that's a very harmless thing. Like that's just all, you know, why does it really matter? You gotta realize if a man wants to, black women are not naturally attracted to a man wearing a dress. Bottom line. For a man to want to put on a dress or a skirt, you're switching gender roles.
Right.
Okay? That's a mentality, because men don't wear dresses.
Right.
We wore African garbs.
Yeah.
But no, you see dresses. There's a difference between an African garb and a dress. Okay? That's part of genocide. That's a feminization going on. If we can't look at that and call it out and see it for what it is, then we're either part of the problem, or we're just that deaf, dumb, and blind and ignorant to the situation. You know, and they can influence our kids because you got the hip hop artists saying it. You know, the Trey Songs are wearing the blouses now.
Yeah.
You got the Kanye's wearing skirts. You got the Diddy's wearing skirts. All these black men that hip hop at some point was supposed to be against the system. Now hip hop is switched into being with the system. But they're totally with it now. Totally with it. If you got young black boys wearing dresses and you're wearing it, that means you are contributing to the situation. Because a man wearing a dress next to his woman wearing a dress,
that don't look
mix. You're not gonna populate from that. Automatically you're gonna that's two forms of estrogen together.
Right.
They both cancel it out. That's why two women together cancels, it's two X chromosomes. Nothing comes out of that, not even a Y or X. You can't give birth from that. So what is the purpose of that? There's no purpose in the situation. Two men coming together, two Y chromosomes coming together, they still X'd it out because there's no child coming from that situation. They know this, part of germ warfare. If I can get them to no longer see each other as attraction, there's no children that's going to be born. That's reality, and we have to learn how to see. The thing is, though, a lot of the Christian Negroes are seeing this as not a problem because a lot of it, that's in the church.
The preachers.
The preachers.
Preachers are gay.
The preachers are gay. Preachers are gay, and you got the little boys coming in. They being effeminized. They being molested. You got a lot of the men who are so-called married are homosexual. A lot of the men, that's why if you look at it, you go to church, just go to church one day, and you look, a lot of the men are very feminine.
Yeah.
They're very feminine. You know, and and a lot of the women are being exercised to think that that's attractive. I mean, just a perfect example. I was in class this past week, and I asked the sister, because they had a commercial about men wearing leggings. And I said, let me ask you a question. Do you think men wearing leggings is cool? She said, yeah. I said, so you mean to tell me if I was a man and I walked up on you and I asked you about going out, you would accept me wearing you cool with a man wearing leggings asking you out?
Yeah.
She said, yeah, sure. I said, she's like, as long as he's not flaming, he's cool. Really?
Yeah.
I said, okay. I mean, she's 25 years old.
Yeah.
See, because a 25-year-old now, as I said, is not the same as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
They think totally
different. You can have two women now, not two women, a man and a woman now, according to her, a man and a woman wearing leggings together, holding hands. One man is effeminized, another woman. See, the thing is, you have to have balancement on both sides.
Right.
So if I'm effeminate, who's going to be the estrogen? She is. That's why you got the whole independent woman thing going on. That's estrogen filled, because a woman is not supposed to be independent. Neither is a man supposed to be independent. We're not supposed to be independent of each other. We're not. It doesn't. That don't work, because I can't have one without the other. The thing is that because of what went on in slavery, slave masters today.
I believe they trying to stop you from being with the other.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you know, from trying to stop a man from being with a woman.
Yeah. Thing is that, but women now are seeing.
But their race is not doing.
Oh no, they're not doing that. See, they don't. The thing is, they don't rebel against each other.
Yes.
It'll be a feminist out there or whatever. The feminist movement, they'll come out and they'll go against a system, but they'll go back home to their husband.
Right.
Whereas they got a lot of our women thinking that they're feminists. They're not going against the system. They're going against their husband.
Yeah, it's just like you hear some of the people I transport. You know, they say, "Oh, I don't need a man. God is my man." Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. You got
And they got the women trying to be like do the things a man supposed to do.
Exactly.
Or if they would a man, they trying to overrule a man and it's wild.
Status. Because they tricked the black people into thinking.
Yeah, they in their mind.
Yeah, but see, I realized though, the totem pole really goes as is, like this: white man, black woman, white woman, and everybody else, and you at the ground. That's reality. So they've already been given a perception or a status that they think they're at.
Right.
So when they get with a man, they're gonna look at you as inferior. Because mentally, like, well, I already make more than you, I have a better job than you, I got more education than you, but no one puts in the factors that went on years and years ago. That put men in prisons in large numbers, and a prison industrial complex. 50% of the black men are in prison rather than being out with jobs. They're not giving black men jobs, not giving them adequate education. So therefore, you have men just roaming the streets or in prison or dead.
And the ones that do got educated, still no opportunity.
No opportunity at all. I can turn around and have a associate's degree or diploma or bachelor's degree and still can't get a job. I could have that degree right now, and a white man can come in with 4 felonies, 3 felonies, misdemeanors and all, looking like Kurt Cobain coming out somewhere, and he'll get that job before me.
Right.
That's reality. See, these type of things.
That happened with me with Coca-Cola. That happened with me. The guy that was behind me, I'm all clean. The rest of the guys, well, they said they liked me. You had to go 3 interviews. The rest of the guys liked me. When I went to that third, he started asking me these all off the wall questions, and I answered him. But that white guy that was behind me came there with holes in his pants and just dressed all that.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, he got a job. I say, what?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Wow. No, that's reality.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of us, because you'll talk to the young people, and the other young people will echo a lot of the words that a lot of the elders said during the civil rights movement, like, they just good for nothing, they don't really want to do anything. And you got a younger generation saying things like, it's really our fault, there is no oppressor, there is no enemy. These are young, and I'm 33, you got generations beneath me at 23 saying we are our own problem, there is no enemy. So that means that type of mindset is carried over to young people to be susceptible to what's going on.
Right.
That's the problem. That's my thing, is that the young people.
I believe it started these songs too with the young people.
Yeah.
I be hearing, like, say for instance, like Jay-Z be singing Beyonce to all the single ladies, all the single, I be that's what is there's no.
No, yeah. You You ain't gotta.
No
you don't have to be with
connection.
man. You gotta be with no man. You make more than him anyways. Matter of fact, you don't need him for anything but a baby. You don't have to have a baby. You don't have to have him. You don't have to have sex with him.